Hi, welcome to Live Dungeon and Dyslexia. I'm joined by Erica Lowe of Broken Brain Games, I'm really excited to have you on actually, because Ragnaborg, I don't know if you saw the video. Well, I put my Viking helmet on and I was going to wear that again. And I thought, I can't hear anything because of the earphones and stuff. So welcome, Erica. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I did enjoy the video. My friend sent it to me and I was like, oh my gosh.
I've been done on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a thing I've been doing for a while now. It's like if I see a Kickstarter that I want to back, I kind of like trying to sort of spread the love type thing out there. And if it helps and gets you any more, that's great. But then, it's even better to come and do this because then we can talk about the Kickstarter. So you've just had an amazing convention, actually, because the photos on Facebook and stuff. Did it go how you wanted?
It actually exceeded my expectation. I had a lot of backers run up to the booth and, talk with me and scream "Yay violence" at me. And then we had some games being ran by Lurking Fears, and people would play in the games, come in the booth, tell me they had a great time, that they backed because they played in the game. And then I had some friends who were playing in the Dungeon Crawl Classic room and some other rooms that are not for Ragnaborg, and they said they started screaming "Yay violence" during the game. And so people are like, "Yay violence" is like infecting the industry and it's like spreading everywhere. So
yeah, you've got that really good montage video. I'm going to see if I can pick it up off Facebook, and I don't know whether I'll be able to share it properly.
I can send it to you.
No, I was gonna put it on here.
Oh yeah.
See whether we can get it shared on here as we're talking. But so while I look for that, I'm gonna give you the. Well, actually, do you want to just sort of introduce yourself, and then I'm going to give everyone the standard question. Then we'll start looking at the Kickstarter.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Erica Lowe. I'm the creator of Ragnaborg, owner of Broken Brain Games. I've also done some third-party work for Shadow Dark, Dungeon Crawl Classic, and I'm also a certified yoga teacher. So if you see my handle on Instagram, it's Erica Nerdy Yogi, or on Discord, because I am an actual yoga teacher.
That hurts. It's not designed for men. We've got bellies and things.
Actually, it was created by men.
No, I know that. I'm just making excuses.
No, unfortunately, that is something that I've had a lot of people tell me that they're like, I feel like I can't do yoga because X, Y, and Z. And honestly, I feel like as a yoga teacher, someone failed you in the past because they didn't offer you the proper modifications that you need. But yeah, I've taught anywhere from 5 years old to 95 years old.
Yeah, it's one of those that I started it because now I'm overfit. Well, I was about 45, but I've done the gym for years and I've had my shoulder broken twice. So it's all like pinned and stuff. So I've got very low movement. And I was like, right, I need to lower weights now, do more reps and start stretching for mobility. So I thought yoga will hurt, yoga will work, but no, yeah.
I can show you some stuff off camera if you want me to.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. Yeah, I think it's because we want to be able to do that without building, everything's the foundation and stuff. And as a man, you sort of come in and go, I can do that. If they're doing that, I can do that. And it doesn't work.
I tell people all the time, I'm the least flexible yoga teacher you'll ever meet. So,
well, that's good then. So that's something to aim for. Hold on 1 second. Maya Trumpet has just sent me a membership. So thank you for that. That's incredibly kind. So before we get into the Kickstarter, I'm going to give you the question that I always give everyone, which is how you first got into the hobby. So what was like the first game and gaming experience?
It was during 4th edition. My friend's husband noticed that I play a lot of video games that are role play heavy, like Skyrim, BioShock, things of that nature. And we were talking and he was like, well, you should play the original one. I thought he was talking about original like video game role play, and he said, Dungeons & Dragons, that I'd never heard of it before. And so one day we all loaded up, went to our local game store, which is the Gamekeep in Hermitage. And I remember the monsters, like seeing all the art, and I've always loved monsters as a kid, horror and things of that nature. And once we started playing, I looked at my husband And I was just like, this is it. It's my new obsession. And it's been that way ever since.
No, brilliant. Because you've written a few other things as well, haven't you? Before this, like you were saying, because on TTRPG, there is a version of Ragnaborg. Is that?
Yes.
So this is a second edition or a reimagining?
Yes, it is. So in 2023, I went to Gary Con, and my friend Anthony, who owns Talon and Claw, they make the dice vaults for the Kickstarter. You'll see them on there, the Valkyrie. He was telling me and Kurt Bennett, as my co-writer on the original one, he wanted somebody to make an adventure where Thor drops his hammer and you go get it. And he goes, well, why don't we make that and we'll sell it at GameHoldCon? And so he hired us just like right there. And, he funded the zine. And when we were making it, I kept saying, I feel like this could be more. I feel like it could be more, but we only had a couple of months to make it. And then after it came out, people thought it was, a really great idea. And I felt like we could do more with it. And so I spoke to Kurt about that, and he started focusing on like streaming, and he has a big family. So he's focusing on that. And I said, well, I want to make Ragnaborg. I want to redo it. I want to make it bigger. And I know the artists I would like to have for it. And so I kind of started that process after last Gen Con.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So what was the first thing that you wrote?
The very first thing that I wrote was Adrena's Tower. It's for Dungeon Crawl Classic. It's a zine that I drew and laid it all out myself. Some of them, I'm not an artist, but I just wanted to make something. I wanted to try. And so it does not look amazing. Don't look at it. And my friend was my editor, and he was just like, I can make sure you spelled everything right. And I remember going to Gen Con, and they had it at their third-party booth. And I was like, that's so cool. I have something at Gen Con on the floor that I made. So...
Yeah, because we were just talking off camera, because you said Broken Brain Games is because you're dyslexic too. And we would kind of how this industry just seems to be. There's quite a lot of it. I know there's quite a lot. It's between 10 to 20% of the world they think, but there seems to be quite a heavy lean in the sort of it's the creative side, isn't it? So
yeah, very much so. And I know it's a hurdle for me because I know we talked about like everybody, I believe there's 7 different types of dyslexia, and you can kind of have your own little mix match. So what you struggle with might be different than what I do, and vice versa.
Yeah, because that's the worst thing, because even at 50 now, with all of the stuff they do, when I sent an email out for work, I'm proofreading, checking. If it's really important, I get my wife to read it.
Yeah.
Or I leave it a day, like I'll write it overnight, and then I'll come back the next day. Because weirdly, the next day you notice your mistakes. I don't know if you're the same. If I read it within an hour of writing it, I can't. I have to kind of shut down.
Yeah. I usually have to print stuff off. I have a really hard time proofing stuff that's on the computer.
Yeah.
It's like I almost can't get lost or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So was that quite really, I guess that was really worrying, going to Gen Con with this work that you think's good, because we do, but people are quite cruel about picking up, because dyslexia is one of those things that I've hidden most of my life, and it's becoming something we can actually talk about now a lot more, but only when people know do they understand. And I don't know if you had the similar journey when you actually tell people and they go, yeah, we knew. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me you knew so I could be comfortable in my skin?
Luckily, my parents, they listened to the teacher when I was young, and they took me to get tested and everything. So they knew. And we tried like the Hooked on Phonics and a bunch of different stuff, and it just never, I don't know, I didn't stick. I didn't get hooked. It took me a long time. And yeah, I mean, bullying is involved when you're the one that struggles to read in class, and you mess up a lot. Kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to be able to, I read by sight is what they call it, where you basically memorize what a word looks like. And dog is D-O-G because it says D-O-G, kind of thing. But with like Ragnaborg, I'm having to make up names and words for that sound like they are of the Norse culture. So that's been a big hurdle for me. But I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah. So do you read words and say the word as you're reading it, or can you read the word without having to say it?
In my head, they talk about that inner dialogue. I have that. I have to have that.
Which makes you go slower, which is the problem, isn't it?
It does, yeah. And my ADHD brain also starts to, it's like a bag of cats. There's like 15 in there. So, but that sometimes it helps because at 2 a.m. I have a really good idea and I'll go work on a project for like 3 hours. And then it's like, oh, it feels like no time had barely passed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is one of those wonderful things that there is huge advantages and obviously equally disadvantages. But, we now live in a world that we don't overly need to physically write stuff down, which obviously that's the harder thing.
Yeah.
Right. I have found the video. So let's see if I can manage to share this and get sound on. I don't know. I should be able to full screen it. No, that's not working. I knew that wouldn't work. Why does things never work? Let me just get one quick go. The worst thing is I'm always worried about sharing screens. Actually, I've got to do, because it's funny. I like this. I do think this is good.
Yeah, I harassed my friends at a con and was just like, would y'all humor me, please?
Yeah, I just had this. It's the one guy at the end that.
It's Tyler with Limithron Pirate Yeah.
So let me just play. Hopefully the sound's going to work.
Yay, violence! 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 Yay, violence, y'all! Yay, violence! Yay, violence!
Yay, violence!
Yay, violence! Yay, violence! Yay, violence! Ah!
Did you have to pay any of them?
I did give them that tiny D2, the little axe, and that's from Black Oak Workshop. They're dice manufacturers. He gave me a stack, and he was like, "Give them out to like your players or whatever you want to do with them." And so I paid. That's where you see the tiny little axe. Yeah. That's actually what I did with it. I bribed them with that.
No, fantastic. And I like the bloke with the mini, whatever he's looking at. He's just like,
yeah, that's the tiny axe. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's probably a good segue to actually get into the Kickstarter. If I play this video, am I going to get copyrighted?
I'm not going to come after you.
No. I say some of them do. So it's actually flying because you broke 50,000. Was it? It was a few days ago, wasn't it? I think it was at the con you announced that you'd just broken 50. So we're going to obviously this is reporting it in proper money. Yeah, but it's good. It just doesn't say. So before going into this, did you have an idea of what you felt was good? Because I really get the impression that you're blown away with where it is. But did you have a sort of figure?
I just hoped, my goal was to be able to pay my artist to manufacture everything and it not affect like me going to my husband and saying, hey, I need to dip into our savings to manufacture this, basically, because the last 2 years I've been like going to cons and trying to build to this point. So my goal was this, basically, as long as it like pays for everything, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
So.
And you've done that and more?
Yeah, we'll see at the end of all of it, but yeah.
Well, you're in that middle lull bit, aren't you, where you don't really gain a lot now because it's like last week for a lot of Kickstarters, isn't it?
Yeah, and it always changes. Like some people, life happens and they might have to change their pledge or cancel completely. So I was told until it's actually in your bank account, don't get to always prepare for the worst.
Don't be too smug with your husband.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
Because he must be, I'm a man. We know how men think. He must be secretly incredibly proud, but also thinking, hold on, I'm never going to live this down now because this is excellent. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, he's been amazing. Yeah, he hardly plays. Like he just started playing game this year because I have begged him to try and dragged him to con after con. And so he feels, what he said to me was he feels like it's incredibly awesome that I've created this thing, that I'm able to do this. Because he knew it was something I wanted to do, and I'm making it happen.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I've managed to get my wife into a couple of games, but her wife, like 5 kids, never role played once. So I failed as a parent. So I'm working on it. So let's I'm going to do the video, and then I kind of want to talk about why Mork Borg. And the sort of, because obviously there's lots of systems, especially, you originally wrote for Dungeon Crawl Classics. So, but I think let's just play the video. This is going to be loud, and it's got some really good music. See, as much as I never show the videos are normally one of the things, unless I already know the creator before I go, to back a project, the video is normally the thing that, well, it's what it's there for, isn't it? It's that sort of thing that we first look at. So evolution of the game, what made you sort of go for a Borg type game?
So when we started talking about it in 2023, I knew I wanted to do the Borg because their open game license, I feel like, is one of the best ones. They're just like, just take it, make your own. And also I knew that if it did well, right, I'd have to be running this for the X amount of time. And I wanted to make sure I chose a system that I enjoyed running. I felt like that had a good community around it. And it made sense that it was during the time of Ragnarok that we would choose Mork Borg, because that was the whole thing about most Borgs at that time, that the world is ending. So it really leans into that time, into the mythology as well. And Borgs, I feel like there's something special at a Borg table you don't get at other tables. I feel like DCC is one of the other ones you get it. There's like a rowdiness at those that you don't really get at other system tables. That's my experience at cons, that people really lean into it. They're willing to bang on the tables, get loud, and have fun. And I feel like you can't, being a passive, shield maiden, it doesn't really work,
I think the thing, and one of the reasons it works well at cons, even any other time, is because people are rolling their own death. So you've got the death cycle of the game naturally, which obviously yours then includes. But as the games master, you're just sitting back going, because I even make them roll their own damage. Yeah. A traditional Borg, the games master's meant to roll the damage. That's out. That's out. If you roll a d6 on there and you roll a 6, that's you dead. That's your fault. It's not me.
That's right. Yeah. It takes all of the blame off of you.
Yeah. Which is why it's perfect for a con, because then they can't blame anyone. There's no bad beat. It's, their own bad beat, isn't it? So
that's right.
So name, I guess it was then just easy then, wasn't it?
Yeah. I Kurt and I were talking, and I just said, what about Ragnaborg? And then we Googled it, and I think that's actually the name of a place in Iceland. And so I was like, that makes sense. And I know that the naming, like now Borg is kind of, people don't like it nowadays.
Don't
But
they? I think people love it.
I've seen a lot of hate online, but people going, people are going to hate. But the thing is if you see the banner and it says Ragnaborg, then it's like, cool, walking by, it's a Borg versus
you know what you're
a random name.
Yeah. It's where Shadow Dark works, because
right.
people will either use Shadow or Dark somewhere, because you just come in and you kind of know what you're getting.
That's right.
So no, I love it, and because I always like a Kelborg there. Why isn't there a Kelborg? And then I found out there was, and that was really annoying. Because, well, I just love all the different Borg names. I think it's brilliant. So, right, okay, so let's have a look at what's included. I'm not going to say this. I'm not. We've watched a video, so I'm too mature to read even those two words out there. Yay, violence. Couldn't resist. So do you want to just sort of talk through the sort of setting that you've got? Because there was, I'm going to shut up. I'll let you explain
it. So Broken Midgard, right, there's time gap, right? Ragnarok starts, sun and moon are consumed, right? Little pieces of the sun fall into Broken Midgard and pieces of the moon fall as well. And so there's like mass destruction. What we would know as basically Europe is broken apart because of this destruction. So it is frozen, cold, can't grow crops, things of that nature. Jormungandr, the world serpent, is starting to churn in the ocean. So it's giving you the waves. You'll have to navigate via the stars, or if it's cloudy, then you have to figure it out. So it's a dark world. So if you have, light, torches, things of that nature, there is enemies afoot. They can see you coming, right? So every light you have going possibly creates you as a target, but you have to be, you need it to see, to navigate. Make sure that there's nothing in the water so your longship's not going to hit. So there is some survival aspect to it, because you can't grow crops. You have to find food, whether it's going out and finding it, or eventually once those sites cool down, the pieces of the sun, those areas, the soul stone areas is what I call them, you could journey to them, and the seers have figured out there's a way to activate the sunlight so you could possibly grow crops again. It's a ritual. But then the vampires, who, it's a perfect world for vampires to rule in, they will send their fleets after you because you've brought the sun back, their weakness. So there's some tension there. And other places want the sunlight so their people can grow crops. There's also ash, which is from Pirate Borg. I brought that in since Loki has gone to Helheim.
Great decision. I love ash.
To bring with his daughter. While they're just like, I imagine them just, hanging out, and they're like, oh, what can we do to create even more chaos than Broken Midgard? We can make it to where when the humans kill the dead, there's this they turned into this black powdery substance that they could get addicted to encourage more people to go out and fight and try to get more souls, right? Because if they die, they either go to serve Odin or they come to Helheim to fight with Hel, Loki, and the giants in the final battle. So it's there in Broken Midgard. It's something that was created by Loki and Hel to try to get humans to journey out and fight and die.
Cool. I'd missed the vampire bit when I was going through this. So
actually, no, I don't think it's not.
Oh, that's right then. Okay, I didn't miss it then. It's just not in there. So.
It's just lore that's in it's in the book that really I've been talking about on just interviews and stuff like that, just to give you an idea about the world a little bit. Just because you have to have that call to adventure. What's a call to adventure? Yeah. The soul stones. You need food, so that's a call to adventure.
Yeah, you just know people are going to be hassling for vampire playable characters at some stage, so they can play the world from the other side. Or maybe it's just me.
I mean, if people, if there's enough want, then I love vampires. I have a vampire tattoo.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that Vampire the Masquerade is one of the best games that's ever written.
You should play Blood Borg because
I'm going to write down Blood Borg.
Yep.
Don't
I
know
actually
that one.
just
So
talked to Adam at GameholeCon. I told him, I said, your vampire game is the game I've been waiting for.
right, okay. So I will look that one up. So I'm going to blame Zach for not sending it my way.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all Zach's fault.
It's always Zach's fault.
Yeah. So included in the Kickstarter. So I was actually saying the Yay Violence bit, showing this page, and I realized I hadn't shared the page. So so we got down because you got 2 versions of the core rulebook, haven't you?
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just dying live on camera, but I'll be fine. So standard edition, limited edition isn't the premium edition here.
Yes.
It's that way around, and it's I hate it when people do this because you want both.
You can get both. I'd be more than happy for you to get both.
Shipping and stuff for me.
I know.
That's the problem over here. There's all the bloody taxes and stuff that goes on, but that's it's both beautiful. And I've backed a few things recently that haven't put names down the spine, which I kind of thinks that's it's a very strange move not to do. I know it's probably difficult to sort out the art.
Yeah.
But 8 classes in, obviously variety of beasts, and we've got the runic magic, which is cool. Obviously the ash in here. Art. Well, if you've never played Pirate Borg, from Ash point of view, it's basically a drug and a currency that can be sold and will either do really good things for the characters or really bad things.
Yeah.
And it's that whole temptation that just turns a Pirate Borg game on its head, because it can go from a horror Cthulhu type game to we want to now deal drugs or get drugs to get the power up. Oh, one of us has died type thing, isn't it? So I think it's wonderful that you've included it in this book.
Oh yeah, the polar bear. The reason why it's a polar bear is because at one of my games at Origins last year, they were giving the polar bear, which is a beast that the hunter can have, or you can play as the polar bear if you want to, was addicted to ash. And so it became like a cocaine bear kind of situation. And so we call it Ash Bear. And just as a nod to them, I had so much fun playing with them. I told my artist, I said, the ash page has to be like a polar bear holding like a zombie's arm in its mouth. So that's why it's the polar bear.
Do you know what? I'd actually missed that was an arm when I went through it.
Yeah.
No, I can't lose this cough. This is
no, you're fine. Yeah,
I've never done this. I've never died before.
No.
So.
Drink the water. Drink
faster.
Yeah, take a deep inhale.
It's terrible. So got carousing rules in. Obviously, the ash is coming in. Random tables is always one of the best parts of all of these sort of board games and stuff. But I like the fact you've got new ships in, because Pirate Borg. I always talk about this on my channel. I don't like pirates. I'm not, and I think it's because I don't like the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Oh,
but Pirate Borg is my favorite of all the Borgs, because I like playing pirates, if that makes sense, and running games with pirate players. But I think it's maybe because Orlando Bloom's in it. I don't know.
Do you have a beef with Orlando Bloom?
Not personally. He was great as Legolas, but I think he probably no. Let's not do that on it. But I don't know what it is, because Johnny Depp's really good in the films, but
of course,
they just don't interest me.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things, speak to everybody, so maybe, I don't know. I do think, Pirate Borg was the second con game I ever ran. Mork Borg was my first, and that's so it is one of those things that I don't know what would be my favorite Borg, but Pirate Borg's up there, definitely in the top 5.
Yeah, it's so that's averaging about 3 between the two of us.
Yeah.
So if Than pays me to come over and get all the books, then I'll go. It's expensive.
It is, yeah.
Okay, we've got a question here from D&D Dad and Son.
Series just roll slide, are the critics right? Their flesh and little substance. I think, in my opinion, the question is, I feel like they are rules light, but everybody adds more to them, or most Borg creators add more to them. Of course, like Pirate Borg, right? Created naval combat. I brought a crit shard in. That's not standard in Borg. That's what Yay Violence is. I had another table to death. So Call of Valkyries. Maybe you end up in Helheim. Maybe you end up in Valhalla. And everybody kind of takes what is Johan and Pele created, and they kind of like build upon it. Some people say that it's almost like a dough, and you make your own version of bread, like your own Borg, as what my friend Eric says. But I just recently played Raptor Ruckus that he is a co-creator in with Zach and Frank and another Zach. And, you know, they've changed it to where the monsters focus on tenacity. So you're trying to hide from them or do maneuvers to distract them versus like you can't take down a T-Rex. There's no way. You have to, you know, get away from it somehow. So I think it depends on the Borg you choose and how much crunch you want. It's never going to be a Pathfinder, but it's not meant to be a Pathfinder.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think most of the board games I play or review now, I think just to sort of bounce off what you've said there, Erica, is if you play just standard Mork Borg or the standard Borg rules, some people find it quite light. But most games now have got a section for additional rules. So if you put them in, you actually get a meatier game, but it means you've got the choice. But I always play with the meat. That's really bad. I shouldn't have said that. I'll edit that out. It's not live. No one will ever remember it. So
no, you just edit it out, right?
Yeah, just edit it out. It out. But yeah, I always try and put as much in because I do find, and I think one of the other criticisms that some people get is that you can't always play them as a sort of campaign setting. But you can. You just shouldn't get too attached to your character because death is inevitable because you don't really go. But it demands a different sort of play style. If you come from 5e, and I've taken players from 5e to a Borg setting, they die and then they go, that's it. And they go, well, would you like to try a different type of character? And they go, can I just create the same character again and call him its brother? And you're like, you're not seeing the point of the game.
Yeah, for sure. That's why when Kurt and I made the original zine, you know, I said, we were talking about that, like campaign play, like what are the, you know, people don't like Mork Borg because the death is like, it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. And so death needed to be meaningful, right? So that's why we did Call of the Valkyries, because it's a moment where if your character dies and they have someone who is like a grandmother or their mother or fill in blank woman who meant something to you, maybe she's a Valkyrie now, and she comes down, she grabs your soul from your body, tells you that you served Odin well, come feast with us. You have made us proud. So in Ragnaborg, you want to die in combat because that's what your character, that's what they want to do. It's part of their religion. That's how they reached their, you know, ultimate ascension, right? And so in D&D, your character dies. It's a sad moment, but in this, it's a good moment. As long as you don't get dragged to Helheim, then, you know, that's unfortunate. But maybe your character wants to go to Helheim. Maybe they want to be on Loki's side. So I like to tell people, like, if it bothers you that death is going to happen, try to look at it as you won, right? My mom always says, did you win D&D, right?
My mom says that as well.
All moms who don't understand, it's like, oh, did you win D&D? It's like, if your character goes to whichever place you want it to, then yes, you won.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell my mom. Yeah, I died, Mom, so I won.
You won. There you go.
So that'll keep right. I'm now getting. If we can get a Kickstarter, so that's Dark Space Kickstarter to 1 million, then I get a free trip to America. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Would the Borg series be characterized as gritty and adaptable? Then I would say so.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen people do Bunny Borg, Duck Borg. You know, there's Mork Billy that's currently on Kickstarter right now where you play as hillbillies and you scream yeehaw. There's so many. I think there's over 1,000 now, and they all have their own thing.
Yeah. I like the fact that we have we have moved away from the inevitable death of Mork Borg and Cyborg, which I think they were the original two I remember, where the world does end and then you just reset with new characters. Because I think like D&D Dad and Son were kind of maybe hinting on that you feel like you can't go anywhere in those campaigns because it's inevitable, it's going to end.
Yeah.
But other things, but also you don't have to include that mechanic.
No, you
Because
can
if you
ignore
don't
it.
want to, just play a game and have an ongoing campaign in the world.
Yeah, you
It's
can.
not-
You can ignore that. It's almost like the end of the world is coming, right? But we've still got stuff to do. So let's do that stuff, and we know it's coming, but it doesn't have to come today, right? If you want it to, if you've come to the end of your campaign, you've told the story you want to, and then the world ends, there you go.
Cool. So hopefully that answers your question.
Hopefully.
Okay, so got more here of Fenris and the White. So these are your is there because was this the big bosses that you've got typed?
So there are no stat blocks for any Norse gods. Fenrir does not have a stat block. You will not be killing gods in Ragnaborg.
Cool.
Fenrir actually is running around Broken Midgard, and he's opening portals to other realms. So it answers the question of like, well, how are the dead flooding in from Helheim? And then your Ash market is affected by how many portals he has opened to Helheim, and then the other worlds as well, fire, ice, and things of that nature. The legend of Midgard, they are legendary monsters that are all created by legends to me. So people who have helped me over the last 2 years get to this point. So like Zach Goins with Limathron, Troy Sandlin with Baldwin Games, my friend Eric, who did Raptor Ruckus, which is another Borg, who's in the booth with me this weekend, and several others. Brian Collin is making one. That was a stretch goal. He did Vastgrim, creature creation. But everyone is someone who has helped me, and I wanted them to be a part of the project in a meaningful way. So there are these larger than life monsters that you can go fight. They all have their own rumors, magical items, stat blocks, and layer information. So if you just want to sail around and hunt these giant monsters, you can and get like better loot, because I think that I like big monsters, right? Like it's the two-headed boar is not 5 foot tall. It's 30 feet tall because that's cooler.
Yeah. Cool. So more stretch goals coming, which is cool. We've then got the ships on here. So and this is still all just the core rule book, but then we've got additional pledges for, is it 3 more zines included?
So there are 3 zines and then a trifold, which is Bones of Fate.
Yeah, and is that the short story, if I remember?
Yeah, it's like a 2-hour. I've been running at cons. That's what I've been running for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Perfect. So, do you want to just briefly talk about what's included in the other zines?
Yeah. So each one is a little different. So Solstice Collection takes you to the time before. So the days before Ragnarok, they are inspired by the Norse traditions of the solstice. So the spring was all about finding new allies. So you will be doing that. And then the winter is all about the wild hunt. So Odin rides with the dead, and humans would hide in their homes. So you play as effigies in beast only, because if the dead break into the home, they grab the humans, bring them outside. Their soul is automatically taken into the sky to join the wild hunt. So in that one, it is pre-Ragnarok. The Gauntlet of the Gods is actually a funnel or a gauntlet, like if you're familiar with Dungeon Crawl Classic or Shadow Dark. So you have 4 level 0 characters. So I've brought a funnel, because I'm a big DCC person, to the Borg. Yet again, adding another element of Ragnaborg that other Borgs don't have. And so you classless, limited luck, and you're basically trying to gather runes for your seer, whoever's going to be your seer in this gauntlet, and get the first binding rune, which is a combination of multiple runes. So it's a more powerful runic spell, if you will. Drangar is basically about you become the Jarl after your village is destroyed. You are the fiercest warrior in your village. And once the village, like maybe you come home from a long trip and it's gone, and you have to step into the Jarl's role and lead those who still remain. Bones of Fate is you go to the Bones of Fate Canyon to collect the runes from giant bones that were thrown into Broken Midgard by the Ladies of Fate to get wisdom for your clan during the days of Ragnarok. So you're seeking the wisdom from the Ladies of Fate.
Fantastic. So, and then we've got some additional things. So character sheets, games master screens, wooden coins, which that's the things you were giving out then.
Yeah. I wanted to do something because this technically GameholeCon was the 2-year anniversary of 2-year birthday of Ragnaborg. And since we have a new Kickstarter, I thought, you know what? D2s are perfect for Borg because of your armor, tier 1 armor.
Okay. And we've got this vault and the glow in the patch. And I somehow I still don't know. Now we've got the larger image that I missed the arm coming out the hand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's okay.
So, yeah. There's something wrong with me, obviously. So we've got 2 digital bundles, which is the core rulebook and then technically the all-in, isn't it? And then physical book comes, I should have said the price, sorry, $15, $33, and then $52 will get you, that's the first tier, isn't it, with the core rule book with the character pads?
Yeah, the first physical tier. And yeah. And
then collector's tier is another $30 in there, and then we're just adding bits in, so we want the other 4 zines. Go up to 115, and then 220 gives you all in.
Mm-hmm.
And then just some of the other. So here's a nice easy breakdown for the add-ons.
And you can always do a cover upgrade. So if you get one that's the, I don't want to say the wrong price. I have a bad memory. So the 115, it doesn't have the upgraded cover. It has a standard cover, but you can, if you want to spend an extra $20 and get the upgraded cover, it's under the add-on. We had several people asking for that in the Jarl's Feast.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect. We've got add-ons, and then so stretch goals. Mm-hmm. Well, you're just smashing. you kind of started out at like 15, 20, didn't you? And then you went, actually, are you now in that stage of, are you struggling for stretch goals? Because when I talk to people, that always tends to be one of the hardest things if it does better than you expect, because you still want to reward people, but not. It's like when I sat with Bill Harvard, did 2 stretch goals on one of his. Did you hear about them? First one, he offered an interview with me, and I was like, but we're already doing the interview. And then another one, he offered to do the next time we do the interview, to do a cartwheel. Okay. Which I know we're probably a similar age, and he's now trying to practice cartwheels because we've got an interview booked in December. So, because he just couldn't think of anything else to add.
Yeah. I one of my friends told me just to go ahead and over prepare. Because it's better to be over prepared than to be kind of like running around trying to figure out something to do. So, I think I wrote stuff down until like 80K.
Oh, that's good then. That's good. And you can always, like when some projects go really well, they actually, we're going to do a stretch goal every 3,000, then it becomes 5,000, then 10,000. So yes, you can always stretch it out. So we have got 13 days to go. So let's see. So where are we now? So we're just under 55,000. So yeah, I want to see you run out of stretch goals now. That'd be nice to get to 80. Then just see that you on the internet going, what am I going to do now?
I'll do a yoga class. How about that? I'll do a yoga class.
No, you're just gonna have a load of broken old men.
Yeah, that's okay. So the place that I used to teach the ladies who were there was a community center. They called it the Menopause Mansion. Yeah. So I'm whatever.
Yeah, I don't think your public liability insurance is going to cover the amount of damage you could do.
Hopefully nobody gets hurt.
We just get hurt because we're old. That's the problem. So Erica, it's been amazing getting you on. Good luck with the rest of your 13 days. And obviously, once stuff arrives, I'll be reviewing the full books when they get. Actually, I'll do what I normally do, and I'll do the PDFs first. But so yeah, good luck with just under 2 weeks to go. So yeah, there's links for the Kickstarter in the video description. So yeah, going back at, so if you're worried about shipping and stuff, do what I tend to do and just be at PDF levels. Obviously, if you're in a country that isn't going to get completely destroyed by taxes and stuff, then get physical copies and upgrade to that limited edition copy, because I'm guessing the other version will be available after the Kickstarter and like drive-through RPG, print on demand, things like that, but the limited one won't be.
Honestly, I haven't thought about that. I mean, if people want it, if there's a need for it, then I would like to be able to offer that to people. It just depends on what the demand is.
Yeah. Perfect. So for everyone, for your comments, thank you for the comments, for joining in and having to put up with me coughing and talking about always including the meat. So that'll be edited out, I'm sure. But yeah, thank you for watching,
so
Erica. Thanks for being here, and everyone else, I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
There we go. Perfect.